Welcome to Your Mortgage Matters, brought to you by Angel Oak Home Loans, your weekly look into what's new in the mortgage business and how it impacts you. And now your host, Matt Kreger.
Welcome back to Your Mortgage Matters podcast. I'm Matt Kreger, Senior Vice President and Head of Sales at Angel Oak Home Loans. We're excited to have you join us again. This week is special because we have a roundtable of highly experienced mortgage professionals within our company. They represent the entire nation, from Aptos, California to South Georgia to San Antonio, Texas. And these three mortgage professionals, Mark Janad, Chris Alvarado, and Tara Purvis, will be explaining to us their current ability to grow a business in this dynamic market, their experience level, and some things that they believe separates Angel Oak Home Loans from the rest of the market. So without further ado, let's jump in and talk to these three top mortgage professionals. First, let's talk to Mark Janad, Aptos, California. Mark, I know there's hundreds of different lenders in the marketplace. How do you separate yourself, and really, what does it mean when we say Angel Oak Home Loans is a full-service lender? Because we are different. So can you explain to us a little bit about what you think the differences are between Angel Oak and the rest of the market, as we truly are a full-service lender?
When I think of full-service lender, I think of someone who's really a resource for Realtors, financial planners, CPAs, that they can come to and ask all questions, refer any kind of client for advice and guidance through what ends up being a important and difficult process for them. My area is particularly unaffordable with high cost, and people need a lot of background understanding. They're looking for communication, and communication oftentimes is the first thing they say. They may have been with another lender and say, gosh, either I didn't get calls back as quickly as I expected, or I didn't get things explained to me in a way that that I could understand clearly. So being a full-service lender is almost like a hub, right? I want them to ask every question they can. I want them to call me as a resource. And then I need to be able to provide solutions. And for everyone, the solutions are different. I'm sure we'll talk about it more later, but about 80% of what I do is standard conforming that exists for all lenders. And that other 20% is our secret sauce that allows me to qualify more clients in ways that I couldn't previously to being here.
Mark, as a follow-up to that, I know we have a high percentage of borrowers and consumers that are self-employed. How do the non-QM loans that we offer affect the ability for non-traditional income earners in our country to be able to obtain financing?
In our county, we have a high percentage of customers, borrowers, community people who are self-employed. And self-employed people, for instance, may not have tax returns that show their income sufficiently, particularly in this time after COVID. They may have a tax return that doesn't show their income consistently over a couple of years, and our bank statement program, for instance, is a perfect opportunity to look at underwriting in a different way. Still careful underwriting, still appropriate underwriting, but have another opportunity for them to qualify that they might not have been able to do traditionally.
All right, let's turn our attention to the highest producer in South Georgia for mortgage lending, Tara Purvis, who's our leader in Valdosta and Tifton, Georgia. I know we have a wide variety of clients in Valdosta, and it's a small town. Tell us a little bit more about how you've succeeded with opportunities through Angel Oak Home Loans in your hometown of Valdosta.
Okay, absolutely. We have a wide array of types of clients here in Valdosta. Even though we're a small town, we're considered, in quotes, metropolitan status. So we do have a lot of the small town kind of clients that need a lot of hand holding, but then we also have a lot of the, graduates. We have a lot of military families. We have a lot of people that also need to be able to do things online. So I feel like Angel Oak offers a full service process for clients, no matter if they do need to come inside the office and need, the extra hand holding, need extra explanation. They need someone that's available and will answer their phones. And I do feel like pretty much all of the loan officers that I know of at Angel Oak are really good about that. But then Angel Oak also has good platforms for us to be able to do online applications. A lot of my VA buyers, I've got one in Japan right now, so we have to be really, we have to coordinate when we're going to speak because they're, 13 hours behind us kind of thing. So I just think that it's neat that Angel Oak offers both sides of the coin as far as what kind of buyer that you have.
Tara, to follow up on that, I know that COVID has created a lot of unique opportunities for us to try to get connected to our referral sources, to our builders, and to our clients. How are you and your team, how are y'all connecting with people post the pandemic and to be able to grow your business? Because we know this is truly a face-to-face business.
We do a lot of going around and actual FaceTime with the realtors. I think staying in front of people is the best thing you can do as far as, because there's always a new lender coming out with something flashy or whatever. But at the end of the day, having a seasoned lender that you know and trust can make all the difference in the world. I've had a challenging month with some of my files, and I don't necessarily feel like that's a reflection on me. It's just the way some of the files work. They're not all easy vanilla loans that can be closed. So I've had to work, and I really feel like if some of these clients had been somewhere else with maybe a newer lender, they wouldn't be closed. I've saved every single one of them just from having years of experience, and knowing how I've saved this in the past. Okay, maybe let's try that and see if it would work, that kind of thing. So just kind of sharing with the realtors experiences that you've had and how you've learned from those and how you saved things. I think that really sets us as lenders apart as well.
Let's turn our attention to Chris Alvarado in San Antonio, Texas. I appreciate your time today, Chris, and joining your Mortgage Matters podcast hosted by Angel Oak Home Loans. Chris, a hot topic right now is affordability. The amount of listings, opportunities for a consumer to come in and put in an offer that is valid and affordable and within the market and to be received. Can you tell us a little bit more about the housing market in San Antonio and what we're facing as consumers?
So, it's definitely a hot topic. One common expression you're hearing a lot out there is you marry your home and you date your rate. Meaning property values are still going to continue to go up. You're still going to be able to appreciate or benefit from the appreciation of the property. But as far as the interest rate, you're going to have the opportunity to refinance once rates drop again, dating the rate. So, one of the things that I have here with the folks that we work with, the experience is, I really think what defines us. We've been through refinance booms and we've been through recessions. And really looking back on those times, what it took to get out of there, it took a lot of conversations of hope, and the average number of homes somebody owns is 3. You got your starter home and you have your next home, and then you have your forever home. So without folks putting homes on the market, first-time home buyers buying that second home or current homeowners buying their forever home without them putting houses on the market because fear-driven paralysis, it could impact the availability of houses on the market. So really encouraging folks to take that next step, utilizing the equity that they're sitting on. There's been a great deal of appreciation in equity over the last couple of years. Now it's a great opportunity to clean the slate for your family, pay off all debt, put a sizable down payment on your next home. So as of right now, a lot of positive conversation is being had, and then also, taking those additional steps, as far as being full service from the top down, product selection. We have, a very large VA community here in San Antonio, military city, one of the cities that claim that title. But we do have a lot of veterans that come here to retire. So being the son of a 100% disabled veteran, you're dealing with families that they've experienced shell shock or some other kind of physical harm. When protecting and serving our country, I think taking the additional time to really take them through the process hand by hand, that one-on-one service that we provide is so meaningful. I actually attend all of my closings, and quite often we'll ask the family out for breakfast or lunch, depending on the time. I feel it's very important to get breakfast or lunch. Not a big drinker, but to each their own. Really getting to know a family story. It's such a special time. I feel that when a family buys their home, it's a monumentous occasion, and I try to handle it as such. Really goes hand in hand with communication relationships that we have within Angel Oak Home Loans. Kind of all in a nutshell. I hope I fielded your question.
Chris, I know that y'all have a lot of unique income earners and credit profiles in your marketplace that we're trying to service everyone. Can you tell us a little bit more about how someone gets qualified in the non-QM space, or if a veteran in the VA space? Because I know there's a lot of opportunities for our consumers. How best can they set themselves up for success?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. So our business is very situational. As far as the profile, the overall picture can be as unique as a fingerprint, in my opinion. As far as how you get documents back, to what documents are needed, their qualification needs. So when we speak with someone from a conventional standpoint, I'm talking about FHA, VA, USDA, conventional loans. On those situations, when we receive them, they're not always cookie cutter. Sometimes there's so many moving pieces. On a conventional loan, there's like 60 to 70 conditions that get cleared out on every single file. So with that being said, it takes a lot of attention. You got to keep your eye on the ball. Make sure to be proactive on expectations with the families, and also giving the rhyme to the reason. Hey, I need this document because it's required for this reason. Either go back to the Patriot Act, or just really taking those additional steps makes the process more seamless for a family. But also, there is a good amount of opportunity knowing guidelines, and I'm talking about us old timers who printed out guidelines and went underneath the shade of a tree and read them during lunchtime. Right. So it's just knowing what we do very well, thoroughly. Each agency guidelines is 1,500 to 2,000 pages in length. So recognizing the opportunity to operate within the confines of those agency delivery requirements is critical. Also, you have beyond that. Sometimes it's an expression I use a lot of time is common sense need not apply. Hey, it's a documentation. If we don't have the documentation, we can't use it. And what documentation we can use is really, it's not our rules. Well, we also have the ability to lend on our own portfolio loans, non-agency loans. So those are non-conforming loans, but there's still, I didn't really understand this piece of it when I first heard it. It puts so much more weight on an underwriter. And to me, I thought to myself, well, why would it do that? But recognizing, hey, now it's the underwriter's ability to identify the income, whether it be through bank statements or income being received from a rental property. Now the underwriter has the ability and responsibility to ensure that the borrower is going to be able to repay the loan. It's not that 1,500 plus pages of guidelines that they're operating in. It's now what they're able to see, and using and applying common sense for plumbers, HVAC techs, construction home builders. All those folks are, and there's a slew of others that are self-employed that, given the requirements on government debt, or really, even conventional debt, like FHA and conventional loans, they're looking at the end of the day, what are you paying in taxes? So FHA, VA, USDA, if you're not using it as taxable income, we're the government. And if you're not claiming taxes on it, you're not going to be able to use that income to qualify for your home purchase using one of our loans. And now Fannie and Freddie, the two rule makers for conventional financing, those folks are, they're under government stewardship. So their underwriting standards given income is much stricter. Hey, same thing. You're not using the income as taxable income. You can't use it to qualify for a loan. So, and I get that, and I certainly appreciate it. But when you have somebody that's receiving $350,000 in deposits in their account on a monthly basis, debt to income 12, 18%, using only 50% of qualifying income of deposits, that is, you can see with great credit, a large amount of reserves, this is somebody that you want to lend to. It makes sense to lend to. They're just not able to qualify conventionally because they haven't filed taxes last year. They have a more complicated situation with taxes. It takes longer.
Tara, I'm always fascinated in rural markets, the connectivity of the entire market together, whether it be clients, referral sources, or builders. How have you grown your business? How much of your business is from repeat referral sources, and how much of it is from people you've just grown a reputation with in town? Because your reputation is what separates you. So I'd love to hear more about how you've grown your book of business.
I just think coming to somebody for a mortgage loan is a very vulnerable thing to have to do. And I think the more you can connect with people and make friendships and prove friendships, the better that you can connect with them and make them feel comfortable as far as showing all of their liabilities, their credit report, and everything like that. So I get a lot of my clients just from relationships that I've built through the years. And then when those people have had a good experience, they might tell their family and friends, she's done a good job, she makes you feel at ease, that kind of thing. Whether it's involvement in church or realtor committees or just, nonprofit type organizations, I've done a lot of things through the years that's helped me to kind of just get to know people on a personal level. And I think that there is something to be said for that, for sure.
Tara, can you tell us a little bit more about how many years you've been in the business, your experience level, the number of loans you've closed? Chris and Mark, I think overall we said we've representing over 5,000 families that have received financing to close on a home in this group.
I mean, I would probably say 30% might come from realtors, but I would say about 65 to 70% are people that I know, or they have already heard my name, or someone that they have known has used me and has come that way, even more than just realtor referrals. So I think that that's huge. I mean, getting word of mouth, that transcends any other kind of marketing that you can do, in my opinion.
I now want to turn to Mark Janot in Aptos, California. Put him on the spot here. Something he shared and taught to me months ago helped shape things in my personal life and my professional life. It's very impactful what Mark's about to explain. Mark, can you tell us a little more about what QTR is and how your life has been impacted by this philosophy that you have?
Well, QTR is something that's evolved over my adult lifetime. And the quick answer to what QTR is it's a philosophy. And it's a philosophy that aims to remind us to make every day meaningful and memorable, to maximize fun and adventure, and to make time for the things that bring you joy. So how that manifests for me on a daily basis is now every day when I get up in the morning, I'm going through my morning routine, getting ready, along with exercise and other things. I think about what's going to be my QTR moment. And you say, well, Mark, why would you think about what's your QTR moment going to be today? And our days are very precious. I've been in the business for 37 years. I probably have 5, maybe 10 years left, but that's very finite. And I want to be valuable in every day. I want every day to be memorable. I want it to be something that I think of hey, I took advantage of today. I gave this opportunity of learning or whatever it was. So sometimes when I come home, I go, wow, that was a great day. And I reflect on, well, why did you think it was a great day? Oh, I was working with a first-time home buyer, and I got to really have them understand the process and really look at, are they going to be comfortable and confident with their payments? Are they going to be comfortable and confident with their cash to close, but really meaning their reserves post-close? Really have them see the process, have them see some things that they might not have ever been able to. And in that teaching and learning moment, I'm going home. Maybe I didn't even do a transaction, but I'm feeling great about what I did that day. And so QTR is making every day meaningful, bringing value every day, leading, teaching, helping people. And so QTR has become a daily philosophy. As I share that philosophy with people, I find that there's people really resonate with it. And like you said, you learned QTR from me, and it's been spreading, and I enjoy sharing QTR with people. I started in the business right out of university in 1984. I've funded over $1 billion. I haven't added that up. And I've helped more than 4,500 families with financing, but really that ends up being many, many more than that, because there's so many that we've given advice to and guidance that maybe they didn't purchase a property, or maybe they purchased a property all cash, or maybe they purchased a property in another state where I'm not licensed and someone else helped them. But between 4,500 and 5,000 families funded in my career.
Tara, can you tell us a little bit more about how many years you've been in the business, your experience level, the number of loans you've closed? Chris and Mark, I think overall we said we've representing over 5,000 families that have received financing to close on a home in this group.
You know, it was funny. I was just thinking about that this morning. It's funny that you're asking that, but I've done this about 16 years. When I first started, I was kind of working up under somebody, but I would say at least, you know, if I had to average out, I'm closing a good bit more than 100 loans a year now. But when I first started, I'm thinking at least 1,600 to 2,000 families is what I would probably think. But like Mark said, there's no telling the people that have come in, and, you know, even I might have pointed them in a better direction, that they could have gotten something different from another, you know, in-house type bank that they needed, like a home equity line or something like that. So just guiding people along the way, there's really no telling how many families. And then if you also think of it from like the selling side of things, a lot of times we don't meet the sellers, but it helps them as well, and they've had a good experience in the sale of their house. So there's a lot of families involved in these transactions.
I have been in the industry for right at 16 years as well.
I want to say thank you, everyone, for joining us for this week's Your Mortgage Matters podcast. I'm Matt Kreger, Head of Sales, Angel Oak Home Loans. And today on the call, we had three experts: Mark Janad from Aptos, California, Chris Alvarado from San Antonio, Texas, and Tara Purvis from Valdosta, Georgia. We're so thankful for their representation as experts within the industry, giving us knowledge not just on the market, but what you can expect when you do business with Angel Oak Home Loans. We are a company that is built from the ground up with opportunities for underserved markets, self-employed buyers, investors, challenge credit, complex income, and we want to be able each week to discuss the opportunities that you have as an applicant or as a referral source or as someone in the real estate market to develop a business around opportunities that we can provide as a company. Thank you again for your time today, and we look forward to seeing you again on Your Mortgage Matters podcast. Have a great day.
Thank you for listening to Your Mortgage Matters podcast, brought to you by Angel Oak Home Loans, where achieving your unique personal or business goals for financial success matters to us. It's all about you. Help us educate others. Please pick up your mobile device and hit the like and share button now. Angel Oak Home Loans, LLC, NMLS 685842, Equal Housing Lender.